we are going to look at the rate of osmosis in a potato. And in the exam they can ask you about any vegetable really, so beetroot, they can even use egg for an example, okay, so don't just think it's just for a potato. What we're going to do then, we're going to see how osmosis affects the mass of a potato when we leave them in different salt solutions. So I've got 0.0 molar, 0.2, 0.4, 0.6, 0.8 and 1 molar concentrations of salt solutions. I've cut potatoes ready, but we need to go and weigh them. First of all, I am going to look at my variables. So what are we going to change? We are changing our salt solution concentrations. That is what we are changing. Then what are we going to measure? Well, we're going to measure the mass of the potato. We're going to put it in salt solutions, we're going to leave it, and we're going to see what the mass is of the potatoes after we leave it for about half hour. And then what are we going to control? Well, we're going to control how much solution we put in each, and then the same type of potato and the time we leave it for, making sure we've got the same time we leave it for. So I'm going to measure out 10 ml of each concentration and pour it into my test tubes. So I put 0.2, 0.4, 0.6, 0.8, and 1 molar concentration in my test tubes. If you're going to leave them, I would mark them up, but I'm going to remember while I do the investigation. Then what I need to do, I need to grab my potatoes and I need to go and weigh the mass. My mass is over there just because I haven't got electric near me. I'm going to take my potato and I'm going to go weigh my mass. So this potato is 1.47 grams. And then I'm going to place it in my 0.2, making sure that it is covered by our salt solution. And then I'm going to write down 1.47 grams. One thing to make note is that I've taken the skin off the potatoes because they will affect our results. And I'm going to go do the exact same now for our other. Once I've weighed the mass of all my potatoes and popped them in the salt solutions, I recorded them in the table, so as you can see from my before, I have all of my before masses. Then we're going to time around 30 minutes because it's going to be a slow process. So start a stopwatch and we'll time for 30 minutes. Then when we come back then, we're going to take the potatoes out and we're going to re-weigh the mass of the potatoes.
Really quickly, the hazard risk for this experiment is using the knife.
Yep, using knife sharp. Obviously, when we're cutting the potatoes, we can cut our fingers.
When cutting the potatoes, so to control that, be really careful. If you don't feel confident using it, ask a teacher. Also, not common, but some people have allergies to the starch in potatoes. So if you have an allergy, you need to be really careful. You might not be able to do the experiment, or you might have to wear safety goggles, watch where you breathe in, etc.
Okay, so it's been 30 minutes. What we're going to do now, we're going to empty the salt solution and we're going to go and weigh the potatoes. So very, very carefully, I'm just going to pour out the solution without losing my piece of potato. And then I am going to go and re-weigh it. Okay. My potato has actually gone up in weight. So now my potato is weighing at 1.55 grams. And I'll do the exact same for all the potatoes and I'll get back. You've weighed your potato, you will get your mass of your potato after. Then what you need to do, you need to work out the difference in mass. So you're going to do the after minus the before. You will get some negative numbers, which is fine because we are going to have a decrease in mass. So from the first one I go 1.55 minus 1.43, which gives me an answer of plus 0.12. And I'm going to put the plus sign in, so it's very clear that we've had an increase of 0.12 grams. from the results you can see at 0.0 molar down to 0.4 molar we had an increase of mass. But as we got to 0.04 molar, the increase was only 0.02, so only slightly increased in mass. Anything below that, so the more concentration from 0.6 to 1 molar, we had a decrease in mass. So decrease in mass means that water left the potato. Obviously then that there were more salts outside of the potato than inside, and there was more water inside the potato, so water moved out via osmosis.